Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Android in Canada here to do my quick little review of the Sony Xperia Ion. Now this is an older device, but one of those things I realized I hadn't reviewed it before, and it's still on the market, so I'd like to give everybody a chance to sort of see what are the apps that are out there, or the phones that are out there, and what your options are. So I got it in to try it out, and it's funny how something that came out in roughly June, we would say that this is a little bit long in the tooth. It's a little bit older by some of the standards we have nowadays, and it sort of feels that way. But again, this is a $0 phone, so this is something that was top end several months back, but you can get it for free, if you're upgrading your plan or whatever that. So let's take a look at the device itself. Basically, it's a 4.55-inch screen. It has a lovely resolution at 1280 by 720. And it's actually really sharp. I've had to tone down the screen on this just so that you guys could see it on the display, but it doesn't do it any justice. It's actually a really nice display. I must give it that. It's a 1.5 gigahertz processor, dual core. It comes with 1 gig of RAM. It has 16 gigs storage space. Even has a micro SD card. The camera is probably its best feature. It's a 12 megapixel camera, like really decent shots. Comes with ice cream sandwich, and it will be updated to 4.1. And it also is an LTE device with NFC, and I'll talk more about some of that stuff later on. Okay, so the actual physical build of it, a little weird for me is the fact that it has the power button and the volume button on the same side. So if you want to do a screenshot, you have to, it's definitely a two-finger operation versus just one hand. You have to really do that. So that has on the same side. It has a really weird cover for the slot, basically where you have your micro or your USB and your HDMI, mini HDMI output. Having mini HDMI, really cool feature to plug into a monitor or something. But some port you'd use just about every day, a micro USB underneath of that, makes me concerned that that's going to get ripped away. Not a fan. I still loved the way the Captivate had the slide on top. Speaking of the top, we have a headphone jack. There is nothing on the bottom except a little microphone there, obviously. And something I'm not quite used to as well yet is the camera button there. All right, so a little camera button, and I'll talk about how that works later on. One thing I do notice about the device is that the power button is here, but they put a little power position, basically the little icon for power there, and it actually has a little bit of a nub feel to it. So if you're just feeling it, you would almost mistake that to be the power, but it's not working. Oh, it's that one there. I also find that the buttons are a little sticky. Like it really doesn't feel like you're pushing them, but it's not really being pushed in. You kind of have to really be forceful. It comes in really noticeable when you have the camera button. And then here's something in the back, a nice, really good speaker. There's a camera, the flash. That I just realized this just today. Here, a little sneaky little hideaway for your micro SD card and then your SIM card. So that's all hidden away there. That's pretty neat. So with that being said, though, it is a non-replaceable battery, so you can't get at it, but it does have a nice feel. This is a real nice texture to the phone. This little rubberized in the bottom give it, again, a good grip and good hand feel. It's weird is that curve that Sony's kind of adopted to it. It's kind of got that really weird back curve. So when you put the phone down, it wobbles a little bit, just a little bit. Kind of funny when the phone vibrates or whatever. Anyways, that's the physical phone. Opening it up, you got your standard timescape lock screen. Unlock. Okay. So nothing really new that we haven't seen before. Ice cream sandwich built in. And then we notice that we have the 4 buttons at the bottom, right? So we start off with we have the old-fashioned search button, which has kind of been done away with, but it's there. And what I've found is sometimes that the buttons sometimes aren't as responsive. And of course now it's going to work totally fine. But I found that it's, hitting the back button sometimes didn't quite do it. So I again, a little weird. Plus, I don't know if you can see the little lights that light up underneath them when they go away. Doesn't really give it enough light to sort of see what the button is. So if you're working in the dark, you have to remember which one it is. Again, I'm not used to this button configuration, so that's just me maybe, but again, just my opinion. Okay, the other thing about the physical device is the fact that it doesn't have a notification LED. I didn't really notice anything pop up at me ever, but it does have on the lock screen a jump to, certainly. So if you had, let's say, an email notification, there would be a little email there that you would slide and take over, or there would be a text message slide and take over. So that's kind of cool. You can do that, and I really like Sony's live wallpapers. That's cool, a cool feature they have for it. Okay, so the Timescape UI, what's really kind of neat about it is it's a very animated feel. I mean, especially with the power widget, well, just that's cool. I like eye candy. Weather widget, bloop, 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 bloop. Again, stuff to play around with. That's kind of really cool. You can do that. What also you can really notice is that, let's say if you pick up an icon, it really wobbles around. And if you want to get rid of it, an icon, it has a little animation there. Again, a little eye candy stuff that just ties the whole package together. There's pictures, my gallery. Unnecessary, but cool. Definitely something that adds that cool factor. Notifications. Okay, so what I do notice that's missing is a widget for email. I try to go ahead and say, okay, let's add a widget, but there's no widget for, there's Gmail, but there's no email one. And I actually like their email app. It's actually pretty decent. It's pretty simple, nothing fancy to it, but it just doesn't seem to work for me. I don't know. They're not having a widget. I need to have a widget in order to do it. The gallery app I find a little not as intuitive sometimes. So, but what you can do is if you back out, you can, I like being able to zoom in. That's a really cool feature. Again, there's a button, not exactly always hitting the thing. So the gallery there, not as intuitive. There was it's not showing up there, but sometimes it didn't really go to some pictures and some not, or whatever. Some pictures you take with the camera, and we'll talk about that later, don't exactly show up the same way as if when you took it and then viewed it right away. So it seems like there's almost two gallery apps sometimes. They also have their Timescape, where you basically, it's an aggregator for their social networks. You can put your LinkedIn, your Twitter, Facebook, etc. It doesn't no Google Plus, but kind of have everything. And then it has built in NFC, which is really cool. And the guys over there let me play with the NFC tags. So this is kind of something I'm going to be having another review just on these little devices too. So the idea is come on, find the right tag. This is a black one, yeah. And I always have no luck with NFC. Well, of course, not going to work for me. There we go. I registered something. But like I said, I'll have a whole review on just the NFC tags themselves. It has this widget, but I don't know what that widget does. It doesn't really seem to do anything except turn on that thing there. Anyways, but you can get the Smart Connect app from Sony that lets you set up, okay, this is the office tag. It'll turn Bluetooth on, turn Wi-Fi on, start the calendar application. The bedroom one will toggle Wi-Fi, toggle Bluetooth, turn sound to silent, start application alarm mode. So little things, and you can customize them all you want. So I'll make a test event that will, and you can say, well, certain time, you know, a headphone gets plugged in, you plug in the charger, something like that. You know, when I tap this white tag, I will, and you have a bunch of options you can play around with. Do, you know, certain things, open this website. So, neat kind of stuff. Again, like I said, I will do a whole review just on that later on. Okay, so NFC's cool. I mean, I can't imagine a phone not having it these days. As to the camera, fantastic camera. This is a 12 megapixel. The colors on it reproduce really well. The screen reproduces it really well. I'm quite happy with it, except for a couple things. First off, it's a very simplistic camera. There's no real options to play around with. I can't pick places to focus, so no, that's weird. You know, I can play around with some features. I can overexpose or not, you know, play with, you know, different little settings like that. Change the camera. The camera seems to be up there in the camera mode. Again, which one? The front-facing one. It has your panoramic mode. Now, here's the weird thing about the panoramic mode is that you have to go through the entire sweep. Otherwise, it makes a picture for you that has gray spots in it. So I didn't really like that feature. The 3D sweep panoramic was kind of neat. The 3D multi-angle was kind of neat, that you would you take a picture and sweep, and then as you rotate your phone, it gives you that sort of perspective look and feel. I guess you need to have a 3D TV to sort of really get that sense out of it. I don't have one, so I don't really notice that difference. But there's my kid in the parade. You know, the pictures on here are really good, like really colorful. I like, you know, a lot of these. Well, nice long, again, because you have to go through the entire length of it. These really, really, really long panoramics, which are really cool, I think, too. What's the downside of the camera, I find, is the fact that you have to use the camera. You don't have to use the camera, but you use the camera button. So I just pushed the button. Nothing really happened. I push it and it holds down a second. Oh, that brought it in. Okay, that's the first time it's done that really for me. No, what happens, I hold it down. It goes in and takes a picture automatically. So I ended up getting a lot of these pictures that are like that. I hit the button from lock screen and try to take a picture, and it took a picture. I guess that's handy, but I don't know what I'm going to take until I take it, you know, until I can't see. So by pushing the button from close, it kind of a pain. Anyways, yeah, so focusing, you have to, you know, let it do its thing for focusing, and you have to use the shutter button. You push it down and then all the way down to take a picture. So the camera's at saving grace, but also kind of a bit of annoyance. Overall, I have to say that it's a really great looking screen, a great feeling phone. Like I said, it really feels that, again, that sexy kind of style. But overall, I found it to be a little bit laggy. 1 gig of RAM, only a dual core processor, tends to feel a little bit sluggish, again, because I'm used to something like the Galaxy S3 or the upper end phones now. It seems like I really want more punch. But for most people, you don't really care about getting the top end phone stuff. So this is more than enough for them, and it handles it quite well. Playing stuff like Angry Birds or Dead Trigger, I found, you know, it didn't really quite have as responsive a feel, so I found it a little bit laggy. But overall, for a $0 phone, I can't really see anybody complaining about that. You're doing quite well. So anyways, this is I find it a little bit slow. Anyways, that's my review, guys. Check it out. I'll have the full thing up in the blog. You can check every little picture out and whatnot. Okay, thanks for watching.